Folks, what's going on, everyone? I wanted to do this a little bit earlier, honestly, but this is kind of the first time I've really had the time to sit down and really get into it, I guess, and give the video or give this information the video I think it deserves because it's a lot. Late last week we got a lot from the new Scream film. We got a poster which we have on the screen here. We got some new images, and most importantly of all, an actual trailer, which I thought, quite frankly, was a little late, honestly, considering we've got an Evil Dead Rise trailer, and that movie comes out a month after Scream, and we got that at, what, almost a month before? Well, at least a couple of weeks before. So I quite frankly thought it was a tad bit late, but better late than never. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna look at the new images, the new poster, the new trailer, talk about basically what we can gather from these images and the trailer, and I guess in essence, uh, I guess kind of touch on some of the more, I'd say, reasonable rumors relating to some of the content that we got. So, what's up, folks? Who all's here? Let's see. Reaper is here. What's going on? Pecan Pie, Red Shot, Janice. What's going on, everyone? Um, so I'll go ahead and I guess we'll start out looking at this poster. So this poster, there's a lot of leave your thoughts in chat, obviously, but there's a lot of different takes on this. There is definitely a lot going on in this one, which, I mean, to be fair, there was a lot going on in the one previous to this one from last year as well. It's kind of, the posters have kind of evolved at this point to, originally it was some of the core cast members and some of the more famous, I guess, actors or actresses of the time making the poster, usually about 5 people, to at this point the entire cast is on this poster. uh I'm sure there are some people on this poster that it collectively may have the screen time of 7 minutes. So but yeah, there's a lot going on, and I guess in a way, this type of movie, it's not a bad idea, especially with, even though we have, it's kind of like a shrouded in secrecy type thing on who's going to play what role. What roles have shifted, things of that nature. Jason Voorhees survives. Yeah, this is kind of like the Jason Takes Manhattan of the Scream franchise, but it honestly, it looks very different in a lot of ways. So let's see, let's zoom in a little here. Who do we got? Of course, we've got some of our surviving cast members. I guess we'll get into the mask here, definitely when we get to the trailer. Some of the people we knew would be in this thing. Of course, Courtney Cox. They're bringing Hayden Panettiere back from Scream 4. Some of your other surviving cast members and some new folks down here at the bottom. But yeah, a whole lot going on in this thing. You'll notice, of course, no Nev Campbell. For those who haven't been keeping up, this will be the first one she's going to miss out on. And I tend to believe there's no real misdirection going on with that, considering there was kind of, it was, I guess, a news bite, floating around for a while, talking about how she, I guess, felt underpaid or underappreciated and refused the offer. So yeah, this is going to be the first one without her. So I guess that's kind of interesting. She kind of, up until this point, had kind of been the only quote unquote final girl to be in every film in that franchise. So I guess, all streaks are made to be broken, right? Flash Thompson from the MCU is the killer. Which Flash? You got to be a little bit more specific from the. I mean, which one are we talking about here specifically? I could see it though. Next year we get Scream in Space. No, see, here's the thing. Um, if we're doing this in chronological Jason order, next year we would get Ghostface Goes to Hell. Then you get Ghostface in Space. So you got to keep it on the up and up here. You got to you got to make sure, if we're doing this as a tribute to the worst Friday movies, I guess, the end of the Paramount into the beginning of the New Line era, then I guess I guess we'll keep it canon. Um, let's see. Will Ghostface save Jenna Ortega's character from heroin addicts? March 10th, folks. It's the only way to find these burning questions. So yeah, that's the poster in a nutshell. Now another thing I wanted to look at like image wise was I guess it was Entertainment Weekly released this article that had a good bit of new images for the movie. Leprechaun Scream crossover. If we can't have Leprechaun Chucky crossover, like we got to get that first, right? Come on. It's just the most logical choice. So yeah, of course you've got I guess this being the new core four, I guess, surviving cast of newbies from the last movie here. Um I guess if we're keeping in like the rules of how this works, like I said, I don't know how much we're changing with this movie because a lot of things feel different. But I guess if we're keeping with those rules, I guess at least one of these are not going to make it to a potential Scream 7. I'll say that. Of course, Courtney Cox here. Very reminiscent of like I guess Scream 3. I guess that's what they're going with. And another thing is interesting, like they're not trying to hide that Hayden Panettiere is back for this. She's on the poster, but in like every promotional image, she's in the shot, but she's just obscured by something. The same thing happened in some of the video material they put out before the trailer. But like, yeah, she's right here. You can tell that's her character. That's what she was wearing. I don't know why. I don't know if that's done intentionally for some strange reason because it's never really been a secret that she was going to be in it. But yeah, once again, Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega. I'm kind of interested to see where this goes now that like Jenna Ortega, for example, like her career is kind of skyrocketing. So I'm interested to see how long it's going to be before she's like, yeah, fuck this, I'm out. So could could this be the movie where she's like, yeah, just go ahead and write me right the fuck off here. I've got other more lucrative things to do. Which I mean, you can't really hold it against them, I guess, too much. Pretty much all of these quote unquote scream queens do it at some point. Uh, for my money, one of the cooler pictures of Ghostface uh, that I've seen from the franchise. I don't know what's going on here. I've heard once again rumors that this could be from an opening scene, but there's nothing confirmed. It is just a really cool looking picture. Once again, the mask. I guess we'll get into it once again when we take a look at the trailer. But just an overall really cool picture for my money. And this is what is his name? Dermot Mulroney, who I think was I've seen it in a lot of things in like the mid 90s. I haven't seen too much with him recently. I think he was in the movie Copycat, which is actually pretty good. But he was an interesting addition to the cast, I think. So I believe he's going to be playing some type of cop or detective. Um, and of course, Hayden Panettiere right there again in that fucking wig that she's got on. It's the very Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween 2-esque wig that she's wearing. And I think that's about it for the new images they released. So there's that. Some pretty interesting pictures. A lot of people are, and I'm not going to do this here, but a lot of people are really digging into the trailer and going through these images that have been released and are like essentially trying to put together this entire movie, which I think, I mean, like, what's the point at that juncture? What are you even paying to go see the movie for? Chucky and Megan crossover. See, I guess I'd be down to see it, but I mean, honestly, I, I'm trying to think who owns the rights to these things. I think what so I know Blumhouse uh made Megan. I don't know who distributed it. I'm over here like thinking about this logistically, like, could we do this? So yeah, that's all the images I wanted to take a look at, but now I do want to take a look at the trailer because that's probably probably got the most things to kind of like drink in as far as all this information goes. And yes, I am going to be constantly stopping because they're very copyright quick with these and I always do. I always uh, try to stop early and often and give my commentary, not just because you know of the whole copyright thing, but what if not? What the fuck am I doing here? So yeah, that'll be happening. Don't get pissed at me about that. I know I've had people leave comments in the past. It's like, what the hell? Just go watch the trailer then if that's what you want. Um, didn't see Megan, wasn't interested. It's in my opinion not really worth the hype that I saw behind it. I mean, even, as far as like financially, it's made way more money than it was ever intended to make. I know they're already writing a sequel as we speak. So yeah, it's taking off. It's having a life of its own. I saw it. There was nothing really new there for me. It kind of seemed like a rehash of that 2019 Child's Play remake, which I thought would have been an okay movie had it not been Chucky, because it, kind of takes away the whole character from the character. Um, but yeah, it was kind of like that. Maybe a couple of themes were executed better, but overall, it's really not worth the hype. The TikTok dance in Megan makes it a 10 out of 10. No, Red Shot, that takes away points, and you know it. You know it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna take a look at this trailer. Like I said, there's gonna be a lot of stopping going on. So if you're not here for the commentary, if you just want to watch the trailer, just go watch the trailer. It's there. So yeah, let's take a look.
Please help me. Just down
line here, girl. You got a problem here, guy?
So there we go. I said we talk about it automatically. If you don't get like the 2018 Halloween Michael Myers mask vibes from this thing, yeah, it's pretty open. Not only that, but the breathing is over the top in this trailer too. Like there's always some subtle, realistic sounds of breathing behind a plastic mask in these movies. But never have I really heard them as over the top as they are in this one. Some people have started to make the put the idea together that possibly this is someone who is sick. I don't know why that's necessarily a thing. That never really came across to me as something that was really uh, I mean, you're dealing with someone who's got to be chasing people down, and I mean, they have to be at least somewhat physically fit for this to work. So I don't really think that's a thing. But one thing that I was taking into consideration is you never know with these trailers. A lot of times they'll hype up certain things, they'll overemphasize certain things, and then when you watch the movie, that's totally not the case. So that's also something to take into consideration. Have you watched Maniac on Netflix? The only Maniacs I'm familiar with is the film from the late 70s, I think it was, and the remake they did to it in like 2012 with the Hobbit kid. That's about it. Anything other than that, I'm not familiar with. Ghostface is an asthmatic. Quit being ableist. I mean, I guess so. I mean, we joke, but I mean, one thing that and I think this killer is supposed to be separated from this based on what I've seen in this trailer, but something that has been like a current, like a running thing in the past of the Scream franchises, like these aren't immortal monsters, they're people. So like a lot of times you'll see them trip and fall while they're trying to kill someone, or maybe someone gets the better of them more than you would see in a typical slasher film. But I guess it's trying to add to that quote unquote realistic aspect of the franchise. But I mean, it's possible. We're sitting here laughing. Anything's possible, and I guess you could always have the whole a mastermind type of character with people who are working with them. I guess like a Jigsaw apprentice type thing. But yeah, we'll keep looking. So this is another point of contention that I've actually heard people argue about, was that is Ghostface dodging or is he being obliterated? in that scene. And I'll take it back so you can kind of make your own judgment call here. We'll go a little bit further back. Okay. I don't know. He looked like he got blasted to me. So, maybe that's not the case. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But if that is the case, that would indicate automatically more than one Ghostface, right? Like I don't see how anyone's getting out of the way of that fast. And once again, like I said, these movies have been typically a little bit more realistic with their antagonists, as far as like, these people aren't immortal. So I don't know. Ghostface got the blicky. The over-exaggerated breathing again.
I had this secret. There's a darkness inside.
So I guess they're gonna we're gonna continue with building onto this Sam's I guess not well mentally, rightfully so, even with previous to what happened in the last film. So one of the things, I guess, the ideas they're trying to put out here is that she is a potential killer. And she's the new, quote unquote, final girl star of these new Scream films. I think that if they do go that direction, it's going to be a total misdirect. I think, given that with Scream 4, they pretty much did that exact same thing where the new quote unquote final girl is going to be your Ghostface in the end. So I'm not really sure if they would do that again, especially, it's what, 2 movies ago. Not really sure they're going to go that route, especially when they've already done one film to establish the character. But anything's possible, especially after watching this trailer. I think they're really going out on a limb and doing their own thing here.
Of me. It followed me here. And it's gonna keep coming for us. We share a certain history.
So, of course, there at some point. See, the thing is, the one of the biggest rumors, and I call it a rumor because it's not been confirmed, but it's come from some pretty reliable sources that the majority of this movie is going to land in one night. So this whole bringing together of past survivors, I guess, is really going to be happenstance at the end of the day, that they're all in and around New York City, where this movie is supposed to be taking place. Which I guess, to a degree, I guess makes sense if you're going to say, like, Kirby's like a New York detective, and I guess it would make sense for Gale Weathers' character to live there. And the survivors of the last movie are apparently going to college here, but it's still kind of interesting to think that you're going to have this movie's. I think it's going to move really fast if that is the case, is what I'm saying.
This isn't like any other Ghostface. What is this place? A shrine.
So if that's not the coolest fucking thing you've ever seen, like, get out. So in essence, what we're looking at here is every Scream fanatics like wet dream. Basically, this is what this scene is. What this this is. I think a lot of this scene is going to be Easter eggs and fan service to the people who've been here since the beginning, enjoying the franchise for what, 25, almost 30 years at this point. But yeah, there are a lot of things to dig into in here. And once again, I'm not going to sit here and try to piece this entire movie's plot together looking at this trailer, but I will stop for a second and kind of like take into appreciation a lot of the things that you actually have here. Because I'm seeing like the star Derek was on from Scream 2 over here. It looks like Jill's shirt. They have like a fucking frying pan and a fax machine from Scream 3. It's insanity. Like you got Mrs. Loomis's blazer, looks like Billy's shirt, Stu's robe from the party, Steve's coat, varsity jacket, I guess, Tatum's outfit, just literally a metric fuck ton of stuff here. And apparently there's more than even, we've seen in this scene. And of course, all former Ghostface's robes up here. And I'm told I've actually seen some images of parts of this zoomed in where each one of them have the respective Ghostface's name kind of labeled up under there. So it's just it's really interesting to see what they're going with here. And once again, I'm assuming this is the new Ghostface's lair, I guess, of some sort, which is once again something we've never really seen. But once again, that may not be the case. The trailer could be a bit misleading, or I could be looking into this the wrong way. But yeah, we'll continue.
We've got to lure him and we execute him.
Hello.
Let's play a game.
You know you're like the 10th guy to try this, right? It never works out for the dipshit in the mask.
So somebody got in the background there. I'm not really sure who that is. Mr. Blurry dude back there. But yeah, this is something that is kind of interesting to note, is that so Courtney Cox has been in these movies since 1996. She's been playing this character for over 25 years now in a franchise that is known for its like creepy phone calls previous to a kill. So in all that time, she's never received a phone call. So this is a first. Once again, even in a franchise that's in this deep, can still manage to have its first, even with characters that have been around since the beginning. So that's kind of interesting.
Maybe. But there's never been one like me, Gale. I'm something different.
That's why I'm.
So what? That's also been a lot of different talking points that I'm hearing is like, what does that mean exactly? What would set him apart as being different? And I think it could be a myriad of things. I think maybe people are singling out certain things. And at the end of the day, let's not forget, it could just be total bullshit bluff to try to, boast himself as, the best of these series of killers. By the way, good on Gil for knowing exactly how many ghost faces there had been in the past. Although I'd argue that there had been one more. But I got a whole nother video on that. You can go check it out.
I'm gonna shoot you in the head.
So like I'll just go ahead and say it. This what have you not seen out of this entire trailer thus far that you see in pretty much every other Scream trailer? Some kind of reference to horror films. It's not here. It's judging by this trailer, I think the franchise may have moved on, at least for this entry, in the super meta self-referential horror stuff. And I think you may be looking at something more akin to like a true crime type of Ghostface movie here. Is kind of the best way I can kind of interpret what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. So I think this one is going to be very different. I think your Ghostface is going to be very different. The motive is probably going to be very different. Things that we know and have heard about this movie all kind of coalesce together under the banner of different.
You want me, so let's finish this.
Guys?
Eat my ass, Billy. I am different. I'm special. But yeah, I mean, it seems to me like as a fan of this franchise, it seems like Scream 2 kind of always stood out as one of the more suspenseful, one of the better, I guess, chases from that movie overall. And I think that's kind of been lacking ever since, honestly. It seems to me like this one is going to be more like a return to form of the original two Scream films, especially the second one, with a lot of, even what we see here in the trailer are some pretty tense moments. more so than just phone call stab, which is in a lot of ways what we've mostly gotten out of some of the more recent entries. So there it is. Like I said, I'm not your guy to sit here and try to dissect this thing piece by piece. I could sit here and I could go through, especially a lot of those fast shots, put some things together, but I don't want to spoil the fucking movie for myself like a lot of these people out here do for some strange reason. I just wanted to take a look at it with all of you, kind of share my thoughts and ideas on what may or may not be going down in this thing. We like it says here, March 10th. So, you know, very soon. It's crazy for me actually, because this is just to kind of be a fan of the franchise for so long and have like these big giant gaps where nothing's happening with the IP at all. No video games, no TV shows, no movies, nothing. And unfortunately, that is something that happened after the original 3, and even after that, the 2011 movie Scream 4. So it's good to see that the movie, the franchise is back, that they're doing well. And not only that, but it looks like in a lot of ways they're kind of following the formula that Halloween laid down, the Blumhouse trilogy anyway, which was kind of make that legacy sequel, so to speak, with the Halloween 2018 movie and last year's Scream movie, where you bring in your legacy characters, you introduce new characters. It's kind of a passing of the torch type scenario. Your sequel to that one, Halloween Kills, or in this instance, Scream 6, looked to be a whole lot more balls to the wall, crazy slasher, over the top type shit. And I guess if the formula holds true, you'll get a very different and unique third installment in this particular trilogy, which I'm hoping, still fingers crossed, this movie does very well financially and critically, but mostly financially, because that's really what's going to get you a sequel. So if the indications of, as far as like the views on this trailer go, for example, the movie's actually, there's a lot of hype out there for it. I think on like every platform, this trailer has done some crazy good numbers in the ways of views. So hopefully this one does well. Hopefully it's a good installment. Hopefully we do get something new and refreshing from it. I think it's about time to kind of deviate away from the stab stuff, do something a little bit different, and hopefully it leads so much success that we do end up getting a 7th installment, which, I'm not one of these guys that hopes it keeps, let's keep doing this forever. But I think, kind of making this a trilogy of its own, kind of like the original 3, and ending it hopefully with Neve Campbell a part of the cast as well, because it still seems a little odd to watch that trailer and not see her face anywhere in this. But yeah, hopefully things go well. Anyway, that's going to be about it, folks. Just wanted to get on here and share my thoughts with everybody. So yeah, if you're watching this later on, feel free to drop your thoughts below in the comment section. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. All that YouTube jazz, you know how this works. No one's new to this. This isn't your first day on YouTube. If it is, like, where the hell have you been? So yeah, thanks for joining me, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.